What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode in the career mode today. You can still tell my voice is still basically not here. But we're going to get through this commentary regardless. What I'm going to do, because of this, I'm going to actually save my voice. I'm not going to upload tomorrow on the Wednesday in the hope that saving my voice for that will then make it come back to normal for the Thursday. Because like I said, in yesterday's episode, I don't want to have a situation where I just keep straining my voice and then end up in a week's time or whatever, still being in the same position. So I'm hoping that like the day's rest or whatever will still give me. I'll still record, so I'll still have the Road to Glory career mode pre-recorded, ready and edited. You just won't see it until the Thursday. So just a heads up for tomorrow. But regardless, guys, we jump into today's episode with the ability to wrap up the league title. Brighton, currently top of the league. We need to win here against Manchester United. If we do, we will be league champions. There is nothing doubting that. We are league champions if we beat Manchester United here. And coincidentally, they are also the side that we drew for the Champions League as well. So we will be playing them in the semi-finals of the Champions League and seeing if we can get ourselves into the final. Obviously, however far we go, I feel like the final itself would be a great achievement, but the semi-final at the minute is still really good as well. Having played our first season in the competition, it's ideal, but I would like to just go that one step further. I don't want to get knocked out right the session before we get into that final. So hopefully we will be able to advance through against Manchester United, and we'll see if we can. But obviously, alongside that, we still need to beat them here in the Premier League to secure our league title. They've got a really good squad as well. So a lot of their players are, multi-million pound talents, and I would like to bring as many of them as I possibly can over. We've got Martial, I think, joining us alongside Eric Bailly next season. So happy days. We possibly will have a really good squad ready for next year. We took the lead in the game, though. Vinicius Jr. on the right-hand side, getting on the end of a cross and poking home past David De Gea to give us a 1-0 lead. Now, the thing was, right, because I knew that we were going to be playing them again literally 2 games later after this in the Champions League, I didn't want to go all out here. I wanted to kind of just see if we could be composed, we could be calm about the way we were going to go about things, and just overall kind of make sure that we weren't giving away many chances. And we took the lead, like I said, Vinicius Jr.'s goal. But my main aim was to try and defend, just see if we can stop them scoring. Because if we can, we'd only need to score in the away leg for me, and that would be enough to send us through to that final. So it was all about just trying to work our way forward and see what was going to happen. And we took the lead. 33 minutes in, we could have had a second. Rabiot finding Arthur. His shot was well saved by David De Gea, who, as you guys know, is sheer quality and going to be very, very difficult to beat later on. Even though we were able to do it once here, I'm not expecting to do it many more times. And that was the end of the game. And with that victory, it means that we have secured ourselves our first Premier League title of the series, which coincidentally, Frankie Brown is going to be the man to lift the trophy because Lewis Dunk, unfortunately, was suspended for this one. He picked up a red card or maybe a couple of yellows, and so he wasn't available ready for this game against Manchester United. And so I had to name a different captain. I went with Frank Brown. I just feel like long-term, he probably will end up being the captain here at Brighton. So better start him early, if you will. So the boys celebrating, but that was only the first of our tests today to come because we're still going to have to play against Manchester United in the Champions League. But we could enjoy the moment, It's nice, obviously, to get our first Premier League win, Premier League trophy. I don't know, like I said, how much longer I'm going to be staying here for. But one thing I do want to mention right now, guys, is ultimate difficulty. It is the sweatiest difficulty you can have on this game. It is so unappealing to play. I genuinely, if I wasn't playing right now with this series and had this team, I think I might have lowered the difficulty because it's just playing on ultimate, man. There's moments where you look at the game and think, how on earth is this ultimate difficulty? This is easy. And then there's other moments where you just may as well not play because you're playing against like a god. Like, seriously, I found out throughout playing the series that I am not as good as I thought I was. Like, 100%. Some of the moves that the computer and AI put up you against is just ridiculous. It really is. So to get the win here, it was even better. A 1-0 victory, keeping them quite quiet. But like I said, you go into games where they just generally don't do a lot, and you think to yourself, this is easy. But then you play against them, and you think, what on earth is this game? And that is to come in moments to come here. So we can enjoy this moment because, like I said, pressure off. We've done the job. One thing we can't do, though, is rest on our laurels because we still have 2 more games against Manchester United to come today. All 3 of the games in today's episode against United, and that will be that. So, I mean, which way is it going to go? Pretty much think of it as a best of 3, guys. Who's going to win the best of 3, effectively, in today's episode? And that will be probably the team that end up going through to the Champions League final. Brighton Hove Albion champions in Premier League for the first time ever. I'm sure we will get more of that to come, though, in the future. But now, this is where it all got serious, because admittedly, we could have lost that game against Manchester United in the Premier League, not had a care in the world, because we still knew we had, 7, 8 points ahead of them, even if we were to lose that. Whereas here, we haven't got that courtesy. We can't lose, because this is a double-legger. And in many ways, you want to start off as you mean to go on. So we had the away leg first, and one of the things I tried to do was name an attacking, intensive side, because I wanted away goals. I didn't care about conceding at this stage. I thought if we're going to concede, it needs to be here tonight in Old Trafford, not at the Amex. Therefore, I would love to be able to get as many away goals as possible. So I named quite a strong attack-minded side. And I spoke about this in the past as well. I would like to have the away leg second rather than the away leg first, so that you know how many away goals you might need. But unfortunately, we haven't got that luxury tonight because we are named away from home for the first leg of the game. And let me say this, I was so angry. We got booked early on here, yellow carded on Red Sauce for this challenge. Now, this is one of the main issues of this year's game for me, and this is why I struggle to find sort of the willingness to want to play, because look at this. How is this? How is this even a free kick for starters, and how is it a yellow card? It's a fair block. He follows through with a shot and ends up touching my player. We get booked, and it gives away a free kick in a really dangerous area to our opponents. They need patching. The referees need patching without a shadow of a doubt, because they are a joke in this game. And Grimaldo eventually runs over this as he gives the ball to Milinkovic-Savic, who shoots, and it's a good save from Frank Brown. But like I said, it was in a dangerous area. That could have, put us 1-0 down from a challenge that wasn't even worthy of a free kick, yet alone a yellow card. So quite frustrating, but we kept our kind of head calm and level-headed. And we were able to actually find the opening goal of the game. A nice cutback from Vinicius Jr. towards Mario Balotelli. And we scored the first of what was hopefully going to be many away goals to come here. 32 minutes gone. And the thing I really liked about this as well was the way that we got down the left-hand side and kept calm, kept composed, and were able to find the pass back from Vinicius Jr. in towards Mario, who literally sized up David De Gea and went, this is where I'm putting it, you're getting nowhere near it, pretty much. And it's difficult to do when you're coming up against a goalkeeper like David De Gea, because I've said it before, I'll say it again, he is world class. So in many ways, to score like that, we just had to hold our hat off to Balotelli and say, well done, pal, you've given us a really good standing point to build upon for the rest of today's game, with still the second half to come. Felt like that goal was going to have a lot more riding on it than potentially it maybe did, because with 62 minutes played, Junior looked to go forward. A less than convincing shot, though, straight at David De Gea. And that was a big moment in the game, because that was our second real opportunity there as well. If he'd have scored it, we might have been able to get ourselves a second away goal and might have already been through to the Champions League final. But nevertheless, a 1-0 win at Old Trafford does mean that we do have the advantage. The only problem is that it's only one away goal. So if Man United score at our ground, we're back to basically square one. And they are then fighting for the away goals. So, yep, bit frustrating in that regard. But we moved out of that one into Wolves, which is a sim Premier League game. Not too worried about this one, having already secured our Premier League title. So we literally went ahead, simmed it. We ended up drawing, I think, 1-1 after our backup side played today. We took the lead through Pereira, and then they scored later on to make the score 1-1, equalising it up, like I said. They actually had a decent side. Tom Kearney, Jan Moutinho, some really good players in there. Obviously, they've lost Ruben Neves. He's gone to Burnley, so they don't have him anymore, but they've still got a decent side here at Wolves. And I expect them to potentially just about maybe avoid the drop this season if they don't already. I wasn't sure where they were actually in the league table going into that. I should have checked it, to be fair. But now we move into the second leg of this one. We're back at the Amex. Manchester United visiting us this time. And without a shadow of a doubt, this is one of the bigger games that we're going to play in the series. If we get past this one, we're in a Champions League final, the first season of us trying. If we have a collapse, we're going to lose and go out to Manchester United, who I believe, without being, harsh on anybody or anything, Man United are probably my biggest rival team in terms of my real life, fan. I have best friends with Man United fans. I hate Man United in terms of what they've achieved and everything. And obviously, beating Arsenal 2 years ago, I got ridiculed for that, being an Arsenal fan. So I would love it if we beat them, in the words of Kevin Keegan. So no more so if I could do it by knocking them out of the Champions League semi-final. That was the side we went with, a really strong one at that as well. That was their team, another strong one, but they have a great bench as well if they need to call upon a few of their players. And inside 16 minutes, they scored. And my problem with this goes back to the patching of this game. For some reason, I was trying to switch to Lewis Dunk to head this ball away, but the arrow went to Odriozola. In doing so, Odriozola was not in a position to try and challenge Milinkovic-Savic for the header, and the 6'3" Serbian put Man United in front. But I felt like if Lewis Dunk was the man that I could have, kind of switched to, we might have had a better chance than that. Look at that. That's the play I'm trying to switch to. He jumps up anyway, which isn't me controlling it. That wasn't me doing it. That was the game taking over. So again, another problem there. But yeah, it was an annoying way to concede a goal. It really was. And at that point, that basically threw our away goal out the window. We had to try and score. Balotelli goes through, trying to find the opening goal of the game. And that summed up my day, really. Got through 1-1 with the keeper and lashed at the shot and sent it out. And this is where I really lost the plot. Odriozola crossing towards Mario Balotelli. We looked favourite for that. Nope. Gymnast Eric Bailly comes out of nowhere. Bicycle kicks it away and clears it. What? When in football would that actually happen? Like, clearly Eric Bailly is in the wrong job. He should be a gymnast and not a footballer, because doing that is absolutely ridiculous. We kept going, though, and 3 minutes to go. The game looked like it was going to extra time. We sent through Yassine Brahimi, who equalised on the night and scored our second to make it 2-1 on aggregate. That right there could be the goal that sends us through to the Champions League final. We had to wait so long to get it, and this was a frustrating game to play, but my goodness me, what a time to score it. 2 minutes to go of the 90, and we might have just got ourselves through to a Champions League final, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I mean, if we play like the way we did here against Man United and as we did in the first leg in the Champions League final, the probability is that we won't win it. But at the end of the day, you can only do what you do. And if you are through after that, happy days, you know what I'm saying? However, with 90 minutes on the clock, watch this. Milinkovic-Savic, centre of the pitch, finds substitute Marcus Rashford. We're into injury time at this stage. I'm thinking just defend, we're fine. Lukaku, hopeful cross put in, bounces off Dunk, goes out for a corner. Yep, I genuinely sat here and I said to myself, this is going in. What has just happened? Brighton 1, Manchester United 2, 2-2 in aggregate. 2 away goals mean that they go through, but take another look at this replay. There are 3 Brighton players who looked favourite to clear this ball away. They jump, all 3 of them jump over this. Look, 1, 2, 3, and Milinkovic-Savic heads it home. How? How has that actually happened? You got Brahimi jumping, you got Ali Reza jumping, none of them clear it. And as much as I wanted to say that I was livid, I genuinely was so angry after this. I just sat there and I said to myself, you know what? When we conceded the corner, I called it. I said that it was going in the back of the net. And this brings me back to my point originally. Look at the match facts. Man United on the night, 39% of possession. 2 shots, 2 on target. They score both. They're through to a Champions League final and we're going out. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today's episode. Don't know what to say. I was more frustrated, annoyed, a little bit heartbroken, but it is what it is. We'll have to go again next season. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. If you did, a like would be greatly appreciated. As always, thank you for your continued support on the channel. I really appreciate it as well. Until next time, guys, I will see you all for the next episode. Unfortunately, no Champions League final very, very soon. Catch you all again soon. Adios.